These chemicals were created to mimic real food, to make it easier and cheaper for food manufacturers to preserve their food, to make it last longer on the shelf, to help manufacturing, and sinister of all, to allow them to create products that are more addictive in nature.
Hello and welcome to the Doge and MAHA news channel. My name is Chris. In this video, we're going to focus on Make America Healthy Again. In fact, we're going to look at a roundtable discussion that was hosted by Congressman Ron Johnson. It's called American Health and Nutrition, A Second Opinion. And we're going to look at one small section of that. I'll probably go ahead and break down other small sections in other videos, but let's go ahead and get started.
Vani Hari, known as the Food Babe, is a food activist. They wrote that for me.
She's got her Fruit Loops ready.
Vani Hari,
That wasn't me.
the Food Babe.
Thank you.
That's not my nickname. Is a food activist, author, and speaker committed to improving food quality and safety. She has built a powerful platform through her blog advocating for transparency in food labeling and the removal of harmful chemicals from processed food. Her activism has spurred significant change in the food industry, encouraging consumers to make healthier, more informed choices while prompting companies to adopt cleaner practices. Vani.
Thank you so much, Senator Ron Johnson, for this opportunity to testify. It's truly surreal to be in this room right now. I'm here today to share something important with all of you that affects all of our lives, something that has been overlooked for decades. Our government is letting U.S. food companies get away with serving American citizens harmful ingredients that are banned or heavily regulated in other countries. Even worse, American food companies are selling the same exact products overseas without these chemicals, but choose to continue serving us the most toxic version here. It's un-American.
Wow. She is not holding anything back. Man, she is telling the truth right there. That is crazy. We are Americans, the wealthiest country in the world. Why are we allowing these corporations to serve us food that is filled with chemicals that are banned in other countries? The corporations are making the same product for other countries without the chemicals, and they are selling them overseas, and they're doing fine in other countries. But when it comes to America, they go ahead and throw all the chemicals in and serve us this poisoned version of their product.
Set of ingredients. Thank you. One set of ingredients there and one set of ingredients here.
Why?
Let me give you some examples. Thank you. You want to do my honor. Here we go. My Vanna White, everybody.
She has charts.
This is McDonald's French fries. I would like to argue that probably nobody in this room has not had a McDonald's French fries, by the way. Nobody raised their hand during the staff meeting earlier today. In the US, there's 11 ingredients. In the UK, there's 3, and salt is optional. An ingredient called dimethylpolysiloxane is an ingredient preserved with formaldehyde, a neurotoxin, in the US version. This is
Wait, what? McDonald's French fries has an ingredient on their actual ingredient list that contains formaldehyde, a neurotoxin? Oh my God. I didn't know that. Did you?
is used as a foaming agent so they don't have to replace the oil that often, making McDonald's more money here in the United States.
Wow.
But they don't do that across the pond.
Why? Because it's illegal? It's illegal to put formaldehyde in your food in the UK, but it's
This
okay
is Skittles.
in the US.
Notice the long list of ingredient differences. 10 artificial dyes in the US version and titanium dioxide. This ingredient is banned in Europe because it can cause DNA damage. Artificial dyes are made.
Titanium dioxide in Skittles. It's banned in Europe because it causes DNA damage, but it's okay in America.
from petroleum, and products containing these dyes require a warning label in Europe that states it may cause adverse effects on activity and attention in children. And they have been linked to cancer and disruptions in the immune system. This on the screen back here is Gatorade. In the US, they use red 40 and caramel color. In Germany, they don't. They use carrot and sweet potatoes to color their Gatorade.
Wow, in the U.S., they're using these chemical dyes. In Germany, she said, they're using carrot and sweet potato to color it. Hello, why can't they do that in the United States? Because they choose not to. The FDA is allowing them to get away with this stuff. Man, these corporations are starting to make me mad. They make me sick, literally sick.
This is Doritos.
Oh, no.
The U.S. version has 3 different...
Don't attack Doritos.
3 different artificial dyes and MSG. The UK version does not. And let's look at cereal.
Oh, no, don't go to cereal. Man, I lived on cereal growing up. Breakfast,
General
lunch, and
Mills
dinner.
is definitely playing some tricks on us. They launched a new version of Trix just recently in Australia. It has no dyes. They even advertise that, when the US version still does.
So they start a new product in Australia and promote it as having no dyes, like a healthy option. But in the U.S., it doesn't matter. Let's keep on putting those dyes in that cereal because it's okay. It's legal here, and no one cares. Let's continue to poison our kids, but we're definitely not going to advertise that we're putting dyes in our cereal here in the U.S. But when it comes to Australia, yeah, we're going to promote the hell out of that.
This is why I became a food activist. My name is Vani Hari, and I only want one thing. I want Americans to be treated the same way as citizens in other countries by our own American companies.
Preach! That is a fact. Why aren't we getting the same product in America that they're giving in other countries? Why do they continue to put the chemicals in our products, but they take them out of products?
My dad came to America in the 1960s. And when he went back to India to have an arranged marriage to my mom, they came back to the U.S. to live for the rest of their lives on their honeymoon. The first thing my dad said to my mom when they got here is, if we're going to live in America, we're going to eat like Americans, and he introduced her to McDonald's.
I do like what he said, because he said, basically he was saying, hey, we're going to live in America. We're going to be like Americans. We're going to eat American food. We're going to go to American movies. We're going to put ourselves into the American culture because we are now Americans. I like that idea. I think everyone that comes to this country should do that as well and think about becoming part of the melting pot that is the American culture. However, this obviously led them down a unhealthy food path. But basically, that's the same as all Americans, right? We're all eating this unhealthy food.
So that was the start of my mother relying on ultra-processed food to feed her children, like so many mothers do every single day. As a result, I was a child ridden with health issues. And after going through 2 surgeries on 9 prescription drugs, I hit rock bottom in my early 20s. I started to take a hard look into the food I was eating. I learned that over the last 60 years, almost all food additives were being created for one sole purpose: to improve the bottom line of the food industry and not improve our health. These chemicals were created to mimic real food, to make it easier and cheaper for food manufacturers to preserve their food, to make it last longer on the shelf, to help manufacturing, and sinister of all, to allow them to create products that are more addictive in nature.
That's what I'm learning. That seems to be really true, that these food corporations, they're making these foods to actually mimic real food, right? So they're combining all these chemicals together to try and mimic real food, but it's actually not real food. It's making it easier to manufacture these foods so that they actually last longer on the shelves and that kind of thing.
Once I decided to take back control of my health, I eliminated ultra-processed foods from my diet and started eating real food made without synthetic preservatives and pesticides, growth hormones, chemical additives. I went off every single prescription drug and realized a life I never thought was possible. I had been walking around like a zombie. And
I can relate to that. I've definitely felt that way for a big part of my life where I felt like I'm a zombie. I've avoided prescription drugs as much as possible, just maybe after surgeries or different things like that where I've had some kind of a drug. But I've tried to avoid that, being on drugs, and for most of my life. So fortunately, I haven't had that issue, but definitely the food issue. And lately, probably within the last 6 months, I've definitely done a lot better. I'm eating a lot more natural food, natural meat and vegetables, and I rarely eat anything that actually comes out of a box or a bag. So I'm getting much better in that area, and I'm feeling the effects in my energy. Tell me, what's your story? Can you relate to that as well?
because I didn't want anybody else to feel this way, I ended up quitting my lifelong career as a corporate management consultant to investigate and write about food full time.
Wow.
During my investigations, I found an alarming discovery. We use over 10,000 food additives here in the United States, and in Europe, there's only 400 approved.
Wow. I've heard that stat before. 10,000 food additives and chemicals are permitted to be in our food in the United States of America, but in Europe, only 400 food additives and chemicals are approved to be used in their food. What is going on? Wow. Come on.
In 2013, I discovered that Kraft was producing their famous mac and cheese in other countries without artificial dyes. They used yellow 5 and yellow 6 here. I was so outraged by this unethical practice that I decided to do something about it. I launched a petition asking Kraft to remove artificial dyes from their products here in the United States. And after 400,000 signatures and a trip to their headquarters, Kraft finally announced they would make the change. I also discovered Subway was selling sandwiches with the chemical called...
Wow, let's talk about Kraft for a second. So yeah, they're so insidious, right? I mean, what she said, yellow dyes, yellow 5 and yellow 6 are in their Kraft mac and cheese, but they didn't put it in the Kraft mac and cheese that they sold in other countries. Once again, man, it just blows my mind how these corporations are okay with poisoning Americans, but when it comes to selling their same product in other countries, they take it out. Why? I mean, obviously it's for the bottom line and probably makes manufacturing easy. It makes the color better. I don't know, but still, get that stuff out of the food.
Called azodicarbonamide in their bread in other countries. This is the same chemical they use in yoga mats and shoe rubber. You know when you turn a yoga mat sideways and you see the evenly dispersed air bubbles? Well, they wanted to do the same thing in bread, so it would be the same exact product every time you went to a Subway. When the chemical is heated, studies show that it turns into a carcinogen. Not only is this ingredient banned in Europe and Australia, you get fined $450,000 if you caught using it in Singapore. If we were able to get, when this, what's really interesting is when this chemical is heated, studies show that it turns into a carcinogen. Not only is this ingredient banned, but we were able to get Subway to remove azodicarbonamide from their bread in the United States after another successful petition. And as a bonus, there was a ripple effect, and almost every bread manufacturer in America followed.
Wow, this lady's really an activist. She's actually making change. I mean, she got them to change to get the yellow dyes out of Kraft mac and cheese, and now she's getting Subway to get this chemical out of their bread. I mean, the same chemical that's made in yoga mats that is wild to me and causes cancer when it's heated up. You ever go to Subway and they ask you, hey, would you like your sandwich toasted? Yeah, please. That sounds great. And then you're just basically eating a cancer sandwich. This lady's pretty awesome.
Followed suit.
Yeah, nice work. Wow.
For years, Starbucks didn't publish their ingredients for their coffee drinks. It was a mystery until I convinced a barista to show me the ingredients on the back of the bottles they were using to make menu items like their famous pumpkin spice lattes. I found out here in the United States, Starbucks was coloring their PSLs with caramel coloring level 4, an ingredient made from ammonia and linked to cancer.
Wow.
But using beta-carotene from carrots to color their drinks in the UK.
Okay, once again, beta carotene from carrots to color their drinks in the UK, but in the United States, they're using chemicals. Another example, every corporation is doing this. Why is this being allowed?
After publishing an investigation and widespread media attention, Starbucks removed caramel coloring from all of their drinks in America and started publishing the ingredients for their entire menu.
Good for this lady.
I want to make an important point here. Ordinary people who rallied for safer food, shared this information, and signed petitions were able to make these changes.
Yes.
We did this on our own. But isn't this something that the people in Washington, our elected politicians, should be doing?
Hello. She called out all of the politicians right there, and she's looking directly at someone like Ron Johnson. Obviously, he's an advocate for this because he's hosting this. But hello, can RFK Jr. come in and really put the hammer down in Washington and make changes in the FDA and the NIH and outlaw a lot of these chemicals, force these food companies to change and produce the same thing that they're producing for other countries and produce that in America, get rid of these chemicals? Why can't they do that? I mean, they're already producing this product in other countries without the chemicals. Now let's produce the same product for us here in America.
This game of whack-a-mole I've been playing with other concerned citizens for the last 10 years isn't enough to protect Americans from the unethical and hypocritical practices of these companies. We deserve the same safer ingredients other countries get. We cannot allow our own American companies to treat us this way anymore. We've had enough, it's unethical, and it needs to stop. Right now, we're at a critical moment where Americans are sicker than ever, and much of this is due to the alarming amount of harmful chemicals allowed in our food. Asking companies to remove artificial food dye would make an immediate impact. They don't need to reinvent the wheel. They already have the formulations, as I've shown you.
That's right. They're
Consumption
already
of
doing
artificial food dyes has increased by 500% in the last 50 years, and children are the biggest consumers. Yes, those children. Perfect timing. 43% of products marketed towards children in the grocery store contain artificial dyes. Food companies have found in focus groups, children will eat more of their product with an artificial dye because it's more attractive and appealing. And the worst part, America.
Wow. So they're putting artificial dyes into children's food because they say studies have shown that they're going to eat more of it because it's more attractive and appealing. So let's keep doing that. Boy, let's make this more attractive and appealing to kids so they'll eat more of it, but poison them even more. Good for you, corporations.
American food companies know the harms of these additives because they were forced to remove them overseas due to stricter regulations and to avoid warning labels that would hurt sales.
Yeah, that's a great point. They know the harmful effects of these chemicals because overseas they were forced to remove them. They know that these chemicals are hurting us, they're unhealthy for us, they're poisoning us because they were forced to remove them. They already know this, but they continue to leave those products in the food here in the United States of America.
This is one of the most hypocritical policies of food companies, and somebody needs to hold them accountable. The FDA is asleep at the wheel. They've admitted they're not capable of regulating all these chemicals in our food, and the food companies are using the lack of regulation to their advantage. But now,
the FDA is a joke. They're either totally inept or they're completely corrupt. I think they're corrupt.
There's a significant wave of public awareness spreading about this corruption, and more people are asking for change. Many of the people in this room I see in the audience.
Yes, we are.
Our grassroots movement is continuing, and I'm now asking for your support. Right now, we are petitioning Kellogg's because the government hasn't taken up this issue. Right over the border, this box of Fruit Loops is from Canada. It's colored naturally with watermelon, blueberry, and carrot juice. This is the US version. It contains 4 different artificial food dyes with the preservative BHT, which is an endocrine disrupting chemical linked to cancer. In 2015, Kellogg's announced
that, again, right over the border. If you live next to the Canadian border and you're in the United States, you're getting these Fruit Loops with all these chemicals and all these dyes in it. And if you just go across the border and into Canada, you don't see that. The Fruit Loops on their shelves are colored with natural colorants, right? They're colored with different fruits, watermelon and the other things that she mentioned there. So it's just wild to me. This line, this borderline, is designating poisonous food and non-poisonous food, or less poisonous food, I guess I should call it.
Plans to remove dyes from their cereals by the end of 2018, but they never did. Instead, they kept producing new cereals for children with these dyes and preservatives, using the most popular toddler songs and movies to hook modern children of today, like Baby Shark cereal and Disney's Little Mermaid, targeting the most vulnerable children. We now have
Baby Shark cereal. I mean, how popular is that song? And of course, if you're going to create a cereal that's related to Baby Shark, that's going to sell like crazy. The kids are going to love that. And so they're marketing that to the kids. They're using the popularity of that song to market that food to the kids. And it still contains all of these poisonous dyes.
Over 111,000 signatures on our petition to ask Kellogg's to finally serve Americans the same cereals they are serving other countries. I'm going to be delivering these petitions to Kellogg's headquarters in Battle Creek, Michigan next month on October 15th. Mark your calendar. With many of the health leaders in this room, and I'm inviting all concerned citizens to join me, including all the politicians here today and in Washington and both presidential candidates.
Obviously, this was shot before the election in probably early October, something like that.
This issue is nonpartisan and affects all of us. It's time for us to join together and end this corruption.
That's a fact. This is not partisan. This is not left or right. This is not Democrat, Republican, MAGA. This is all of us. This is American. This is our health. This is all about make America healthy again. It doesn't matter your politics or your political spectrum. We want healthy food, period.
Once and for all. Thank you very much.
Oh, she's getting a little bit of a standing ovation. That's pretty awesome. Yeah, she's obviously very passionate about this. I got pumped up. The more and more she went along, I got more and more pumped up and excited and like, yeah, let's do this. And she's obviously a very effective advocate for healthy food and fighting these large food companies, getting the petitions. I mean, that's a lot of work, but she is doing a great job. Wow, I thought that was an awesome video. What do you guys think? Please tell me in the comments below what you thought about the food babe and her comments here. I'm going to go ahead and look at some of these other clips and share some of these other clips from this conference with you guys as well. So make sure you like and subscribe if you want to see more of these videos. I love how this information is bubbling up to the surface and more people are really getting interested in this. I think Make America Healthy Again agenda is really going to change America. It's going to change our lives for the better. So I'm all on board. No matter your politics, I hope you're on board as well. So let's work on this together. I'm going to go ahead and leave a link to the full video down below. And also I'm going to try and find her information and leave links to her information as well. So once again, I really appreciate you guys watching. If you want to watch more Make America Healthy Again videos, I'm going to go ahead and make sure there's a playlist right here for you guys. Every day I'm going to bring you new news and new information regarding the Make America Healthy Again agenda, as well as the Department of Government Efficiency. So make sure you like and subscribe. Thanks a lot for watching and take care.